Alpha Tauri will be the 7th team this season to debut a new driver lineup in 2021. After deciding to not renew the services of Daniel Kvyat, Alpha Tauri have invested in youth instead by signing on Japan's Yuki Tsunoda. In this teammate Tale of the Tape video, we'll be looking more at each driver individually, as Tsunoda is one of 3 rookies this season, so his F1 resume at the moment is empty. A team that is always a fan-favorite underdog, Alpha Tauri are positioning themselves to emerge out of the shadows as a Red Bull B team and legitimately contend with the elite teams in the midfield. With changes in their driver lineup, will the partnership of Gasly and Tsunoda be enough to achieve this goal? With that said, let's learn more about one of F1's newest drivers and break down the numbers behind the teammate Tale of the Tape at Alpha Tauri. It's always difficult for a young rookie to enter Formula 1 against a more experienced and established teammate. Yuki Tsunoda will have the difficult task of trying to match one of the most improved drivers on the F1 grid. Entering 2021 as a Grand Prix winner, Pierre Gasly will be Alpha Tauri's de facto #1 driver and team leader. The two drivers will have a lot of work to do in order to keep up with the ever-challenging and improving midfield. Because Tsunoda is a rookie in Formula 1, we're going to compare Yuki's last F2 season with Pierre's F1 career. It's difficult to compare the two directly, but taking a look at the numbers offers us a good opportunity to learn more about Tsunoda's capabilities. In modern Formula 1, can we consider 25 to be old? Pierre Gasly will enter his 4th full season of F1 and 5th altogether with Toro Rosso/Alpha Tauri. He has 64 races under his belt, in which he's been able to score 2 podiums and that one fantastic race victory coming last year in Monza. Gasly has steadily improved his head-to-head against teammates since his Red Bull stint. He's outqualified teammates 56% of the time, while outracing them 65% of the time in his career. These steady numbers led him to outqualifying Kvyat last year 12-4, and scoring almost 3 times as many points as his Russian teammate. On the other hand, Yuki Tsunoda had just one short season of Formula 2 last year, in which he was able to deliver enough to secure a seat in Formula 1. In 24 races, Tsunoda picked up 7 podium finishes, along with 3 race victories. Throughout 2020, he was able to outqualify his teammates 67% of the time, which was a strength of his. He managed to get the better of his teammate in races 54% of the time, and was a consistent point scorer, which led him to securing 3rd in the F2 championship. Tsunoda has proved himself already to be able to handle the pressure quite well, as he needed that 3rd place in F2 in order to secure enough points for a super license. He'll enter a driver-friendly environment at Alpha Tauri, and he'll also be given some time to get up to speed and develop his skills as a young driver. The aim is for Tsunoda to be able to match his teammate Gasly by the middle of the season, and that would be great news for Alpha Tauri if he can achieve that. Let's now look at these drivers individually and what skills they bring to the team. Even though Alpha Tauri is a midfield team, you could argue that Pierre Gasly is far better off sticking with the Italian squad than being promoted back to Red Bull Racing at the moment. He enters the 2021 season with the chance to prove that he can lead a team on his own and possibly catch the eye of other teams in the market for a driver in 2022. Gasly is coming off of a career year in which he took his first F1 win and had a solid season all around, scoring in all but 4 races. Throughout his career, Gasly has finished in the points in 45% of his career races and has also reached Q3 in 30 out of 64 attempts. His best championship finish of 7th came back in 2019 when he split time between Red Bull and Toro Rosso. Every driver's first challenge is his teammate, and that is where Gasly will have to start off from in 2021. Tsunoda is coming in as the young prospect with a lot of potential, so that will be added motivation for Gasly to put a stop to the hype train and further add to his stock. Other than beating his teammate, another race victory might be a goal, but it is somewhat unrealistic. But Alpha Tauri are trying to get within the midfield fight between the likes of Alpine, Aston Martin, and McLaren. Their ATO2 car reveal a few weeks ago has shown us some interesting characteristics, which we'll get to at the end, but Gasly has also hinted at some potential improvements found in the new 2021 car.
everybody is aware, everybody is trying to push in the right direction. I think they have found a couple of interesting things, which obviously we need to confirm during testing. But all in all, I think the team is really improving year after year, and also the way we work together, the working relationship is really good. I hope that we can put this into good results next year. Yeah.
If they want to break into the top 6, they'll need Pierre Gasly at his very best every weekend and extracting every bit of performance out of the car. Alpha Tauri is a team known to punch above its weight, so with Gasly's proven ability to strike when the opportunity presents itself, we could see another podium finish in the Frenchman's sights. I also think Gasly has made a significant improvement in his one-lap pace, which could come in handy along with the new Honda power unit in 2021. It's an exciting time if you're a Pierre Gasly fan, as he's just starting to hit his peak as a Grand Prix driver. This season will be an important year in which the future trajectory of his career might be decided, and I believe it will be for the better. Japan has its first Formula 1 driver on the grid since 2014, and it comes in the form of 20-year-old Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki is a Honda-backed driver who made his single-seater debut back in 2016 for the F4 Japanese Championship. His ascent to Formula 1 is quite quick actually, as he caught the eye of one Helmut Marko, a man who is not easy to please. With that pressure on him, Tsunoda handled himself really well in 2020 and finished 3rd in the F2 Championship. His test last year at Imola in 2018 Spec Toro Rosso really impressed the team in terms of his speed and also feedback with the engineers. That was the final confirmation that the Red Bull bosses needed to give Tsunoda the seat alongside Pierre Gasly. Much like every F1 rookie, Tsunoda is tempering his expectations early on in the season, and he's taking the demands of Formula 1 day by day.
For me, I don't make a goal usually before the season. I just focus by race, and now I'm focusing for Bahrain test, turn 1 braking zone. So I don't make goal, but maybe I will say, just like I say, get a point as much as possible. Of course, my target will be like a podium, but yeah, just for me now, push hard and adapt the car as much as possible.
Even though he talks down his goals for the current season, Tsunoda has big expectations from himself, as his dream is to be a Formula 1 world champion. Every driver makes huge sacrifices to make it to the grid, and that's especially true for the 20-year-old Japanese star. It's a big culture shock moving from his hometown of Sagamihara, Japan, to the European continent and living in places like England and Italy. The good news here for Tsunoda is that he's driving for an Italian team, as he's quite the fan of their cuisine, but the same cannot be said unfortunately for his English counterparts, according to Yuki. This was one of the many great examples I found of Tsunoda's honest character and likable personality that explains why he gelled so well with the Alpha Tauri team right away. On track, Tsunoda has the great ability of adapting quickly and improving greatly throughout the course of a season. After being outraced by his F2 teammates 6-2 to start the 2020 season, Tsunoda went on to beat Daravila 11-5 to finish out the year, and also won the qualifying battle, beating him 8-4. With the Red Bull Junior program looking a little thin nowadays, Helmut Marko has placed a lot of hope on the talents of Yuki Tsunoda and would like to see him promoted to the senior team in the future. There's a lot of promise behind Yuki Tsunoda, as he is a very young, talented F2 driver, although inexperienced. I'm looking forward to seeing how Tsunoda will get on at Alpha Tauri, and whether he can succeed against a tough teammate like Pierre Gasly. Alpha Tauri was in a no-man's land spot in the standings last year in 7th place, with a healthy gap behind them and in front of them. For years they've been considered just a junior team to Red Bull, but their 2021 car is not a carbon copy of the senior Red Bull team. They've taken some parts from the Red Bull technologies such as the power steering rack and front suspension rockers, but they've declined to take the 2020 spec Red Bull rear end and gearbox. They've instead decided to focus and spend their development tokens on the front of the car, and that is clearly seen by the new nose. On the face of it, it looks like the smart way to go, as the 2020 Red Bull was notorious for an unstable rear end, and we've also seen multiple teams transition into the popular narrow nose concept. Alpha Tauri has opted for stability and are hoping the upgraded Honda power unit will give them an extra boost as well. We'll have to wait and see whether the new additions will make Alpha Tauri faster, but for now, things are looking quite promising out of Faenza. For their driver lineup, it's one that is relatively unexperienced in relation to their rivals, but they're not short on talent. In order for this to work for Alpha Tauri, Tsunoda will need to try and get up to speed as quickly as possible and join Gasly in scoring points for the team on a week-to-week basis. The team is pushing for lofty expectations, and with the rule changes coming into effect this year and beyond, there's reason for Alpha Tauri supporters to be cautiously optimistic. One thing is for sure, they've debuted one of the best-looking liveries so far this season, and the common F1 fan will be cheering on the underdogs over at Alpha Tauri. What do you think of Alpha Tauri's addition of Yuki Tsunoda, and how do you expect Alpha Tauri to perform in the upcoming season? Leave your thoughts in the comments below and tell us what you think of the new AT02 livery. That'll do it for the teammate Tail of the Tape videos for 2021, but coming up next will be 3 days of winter testing in Bahrain. Stay tuned to our social channels as we'll be soon announcing our content plans for winter testing and how you can be a part of them. Until then, thanks for watching the videos, we appreciate all the support, and you'll be hearing from us soon. Until then, take care.